do you think about Clipse signing the Def Jam? Is this a
Um,
big move?
No, it's not. No. And the reason why I say that, and this is not even disrespect, because Pusha's already a solo Def Jam artist, so it makes sense. Pusha's been on Def Jam this whole time, so the Clipse signing, as a duo, as a group, it's not crazy. Pusha is signed to Def Jam as a solo, so I'm excited to hear what they're coming with, man, because they've had snippets that they've released at fashion shows or whatnot that are records, some unreleased joints. And I'm ready to hear it because I like Pusha's last album. So I really want to see what Malice has to offer now, coming off him disappearing and kind of turning the idea of himself around as far as how he want to be looked at and everything he was doing, and now seeing him jump back in this with his brother. I'm interested to see what that dynamic is going to be like now and what that music sounds like now.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I think that when you have somebody who leaves the rap game or hip hop, or let's just say the music industry, because that's what it's really about. When you have somebody that leaves the music industry for those reasons, those religious reasons, and those reasons of morality, it's interesting to see them jump back in, and I guess to see how they're going to jump back in. Now, they were able to make the record that was on Pusha T's last album, I Pray For You.
Yeah.
But what's going to be the tone of this album? And I do think it's interesting that they chose to sign the Def Jam for many reasons, because, I mean, it's 2024. Like, record labels aren't what they used to be from a marketing standpoint even. So, I mean, it would have made more sense if the news was they're signing to Rock Nation or something like that. But I don't really know what it means to sign to Def Jam in 2024. Like you said, Pusha T's already signed to that. Maybe it's a situation where Def Jam wasn't going to allow Pusha to do something outside of Def Jam work, and maybe this Clip stuff goes into his Def Jam concert. I don't know. But I don't understand what that really means for a group that's so established that most people would think like, yo, well, you could just do your own thing, really. Like, and what's the budget looking? I mean, is it for a budget, or I don't know. It just so many unanswered things here, and maybe they're just trying to do it super big.
I don't think it's for a budget at all. I think it's just simply for distribution if we want to keep it a stack. Because
what does distribution look like in 2024 though? We're in the streaming era, so what exactly does distribution from Def Jam actually look like? Vinyl?
I don't know how that works with the streaming, with streaming now in the music business and in that area. We know they don't need them for, because how many labels really promote their artists? These artists are kind of doing the footwork and the leg work on their own.
Exactly.
Podcasts, they're doing live on the streams, they're interacting with the people on social media. Like
the buzz was already there.
Yeah, it's already there. So I think it's just to give them a platform to release it that is, like I said, Pusha's been on there this whole time. The last one, quite some time. So it's like, it doesn't sound crazy. I honestly don't think big record labels even matter no more,
Right.
So that announcement of them being on Def Jam is not a big deal to me, but I'm more concerned with how the album's going to come out, how it's going to sound, what is the tone, what is the production going to sound like, because I don't think Pusha has that relationship with Ye no more. So
I don't think Ye is going to be involved in this.
So I wonder, is this going to bring more Pharrell production? Because if that's the case, we've seen what Pharrell did on It's Almost Dry. And if we're getting that old Clipse, Pharrell type stuff, I'm interested. I want to hear how it sounds.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Pharrell. Because with the lawsuit out there, I want to know where Pharrell and Chad stand, because Chad's a big factor in here too. To me, the Clipse stuff isn't the same without Chad involved. Leroy with the super chat says, shout out to Leroy in the building, says the Clipse signing looks crazy because it's like Nas signing the Def Jam back in the day. Of course, Leroy's going to bring up Nas. The brand was built and arguably more powerful than the label. Again, it's one thing that it happened, like you said, but the fact that there was an announcement is like, was that supposed to build more anticipation? I think the anticipation would have already been the fact that we got a release date on the Clipse album. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's mainly just like getting to the point that we're coming. You know, it's been rumblings. We've heard unsigned. I think it's just keeping up the hype about it. I don't think it's too much to even put a lot of hype into. I mean, people signing these big deals to certain things. The excitement is just not there no more, man. We've seen so many rappers do it independently. It's just those times of being signed to those big name or those labels that's been synonymous with hip hop for so long. It's just like, man, I don't know. You feel
I
me? Like
think
I
that,
just I don't look into it as a big deal like that no more.
well, one of my big things here is the fact that I want to know exactly what this is going to sound like. 'Cause like you said, Ye's probably not involved, um, which is fine because the Neptunes have handled the lion's share of Clipse production in the past anyway. But my questions are, where's No Malice going to be at direction wise? Because I don't think he's going to be coming from some dope boy approach. I don't believe. And Chad Hugo. I think that, yeah, those are the things. Because really, when we talk about the Clipse and the Neptunes, we're talking about four people. And I got questions about half of them. We see how Pharrell and Pusha T rocking. We see how they've been rocking for the past 10 years, if you will. They got a rhythm going. I don't know if Malice wants to speak on some of those things that Pusha raps, about ad nauseum. You know what I mean? Like he has coined himself that coke rapper. And No Malice is clearly the opposite of that. So I would like to understand what the direction is going to be like with that dynamic. And are we dealing with just Pharrell production? Are we dealing with Pharrell and Chad production?
Good question, man. I don't think it's gonna be anything trash. I do strongly believe that. I don't see that. I mean, just coming off the last few Pusha albums, a couple Pusha albums, they're not trash. So I don't think it's gonna be trash. I don't know if it'll be the impact as what it would have been back then. Of course, these are older artists. These are things where Pusha kind of never like went over the hump. He's still kind of like
I
underground
agree.
in a sense. So I think it's gonna give the love at the level where it needs to get the love, but I just don't. The impact's not there. But if it's dope music, I support it. I like dope music. So that's what I'm really checking for. Is it just being a dope project?
Well, that was my problem with it. It's almost dry. I felt like this was the time for Pusha T to kind of dig in a little bit more, and talk about some things that he hadn't talked about before.
It's
Again,
pretty good though.
you can't tell somebody what to talk about. But from 2018, all right, let's just say from Daytona to It's Almost Dry. He got married, had his first child, and lost both of his parents. And again, I'm not expecting anybody to speak like it's a therapy session or anything, but you've had life altering, situations happen since your last album. And I thought we were going to get some of those things because for my greatest artists, we normally do. Now, maybe with No Malice being in the fold, we might get some of that. So maybe that's the balance that can happen with this effort, but I don't feel like it would serve us or just serve the group collectively if we're getting the same old dope boy rap from both of them on this upcoming effort.
Yeah, I could agree. I mean, Pusha did, address some things on this almost dry. The Brambleton record. You know,
Brambleton's a highlight because of that,
yeah, yeah. There's a few things he did address and then speak on that. There's coke raps. That's Pusha T. He's the poster boy of coke raps. But there are some personal things he did address that people associated with that stuff back then. Talked about in Vlad interviews or whatever. He kind of got at it. So
Yeah.
it was a little bit there. So yeah, maybe if we do get a little bit more introspective with the stuff with Malice, I would love to see it because yeah, I mean, when we think Pusha, we think coke rap. So I do want to see finally we get something with a little bit more subject matter. And I mean, I don't know how it's gonna look, but I'm looking forward to it. I'll check for it. I'm looking forward